Let's get rocking and rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? For those of you who do not know, my name is Chin Bobbitt, co-founder of Skyton Academy. This is Connect Wednesdays, episode 114. I'm going to call this one the tariff that shook the world, right? We're going to be in and out. So without further ado, let's get rocking and rolling. So a couple days ago, we just witnessed something that was wild. And this wasn't just a regular correction. This is what I call controlled demolition. So October 10th, 2025, just 5 days ago, 1.65 trillion vanished from the US stock market and 19 billion was liquidated from the crypto market in less than 24 hours. That's not volatility. That's something that's orchestrated. 16 billion of those dollars was from liquidations. They came from long positions, right? So this is the derivative side. This is traders. That means retail investors, everyday people. Those were the ones that got wiped out. At any time you see that kind of precision, that kind of timing, that scale, you're not looking at something that's a quote unquote coincidence. And I don't believe in coincidences at all. You're looking at coordination. This was a real firm message to the masses. This is the reset in real time. So if you're not educated, if you're not properly positioned, you're going to keep being the liquidity that fuels somebody else's wealth. So tonight, I'm going to show you guys exactly what happened, what really happened, who benefited, how the dots connect between Washington, Beijing, China, Wall Street, and blockchain, and most importantly, how each and every one of you can stay in position during the greatest wealth transfer in history. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. So on October 10th, Trump announced a 100% tariff that was going to hit Chinese imports starting November 1st, right? He said this was in response to China basically restricting the exports of rare earth minerals, the essential elements for AI chips, fighter jets, electric vehicle batteries, and advanced weapon systems, right? So in the headlines, it looked like this was just a policy move, right? This just normal politics, a normal day when we got Trump in office, right? Within minutes, what followed was one of the most violent market reactions I've ever seen. Literally within minutes of the news coming out. The S&P 500 lost $700 billion in market value. 700 billion with a B. Bitcoin went from 124ish to below 110. Ethereum dropped 16%. Solana fell, I think, 20%. XRP was down 25%. And even though I don't rock with it, I know a lot of people out there are invested out there in YouTube world. Dogecoin. Dogecoin flash crashed 50%. And this was in the first hour alone. So when I said minutes after this notification, after he put this up on True Social, it was literally 1 hour within 60 minutes. $3 billion in crypto was liquidated. And at the end of the day, 24 hours total, 19.1 billion gone. That's 20 times larger than the FTX collapse back in 2022. That's 20 times the magnitude of the COVID crash that happened in March of 2020. This is what made it different though. So 30 minutes before Trump made the announcement, there was a brand new account that was open on one of the major exchanges, major crypto exchanges. The wallet took a massive short position on Bitcoin by itself, meaning it bet that Bitcoin's price was about to crash. 30 minutes later, Trump put up the announcement on Truth Social. Soon as he put that announcement up, the market tanked. That single account that was just created a couple minutes before the announcement happened, they walked away with $88 million in profit in 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 88 million. Do you think that was a coincidence? Y'all tell me, maybe I'm tripping. So I want y'all to pause right there, right? This is the part that nobody talks about at all. How did a brand new wallet opened the same exact day, managed to time the single most market moving event of this quarter down to the minute. Like that's not skill. That's not a trading skill. That's insider information. Let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. And when you connect that to the liquidation data, 16 out of the 19 billion that was wiped away, that was retail loans. So you realize this wasn't just a market event. Like this was liquidity harvesting. They knew that everybody was euphoric. The retail investor was excited. We had just hit a new Bitcoin all-time high. Everybody right now knows this is fourth quarter. So they know this is the time right now. We're super close to altcoin season. So everybody was just kind of riding that wave and everybody's excited. This was the perfect moment to wipe it all away. Mainstream media went crazy, right? They were panicking just straight off the tariff narrative, right? They blamed the drop on the trade fears, on the AI chip concerns, and basically like economic uncertainty, right? They blamed that drop on those three things. But here's the issue. Trump had announced tariffs on China multiple times before, and we never ever seen this kind of synchronized sell-off across equities, crypto, and derivatives. So it makes you ask, like, why now? Like, what happened right now? It's just timing. The drop came weeks after extreme greed. So one thing that, when you've been in this space for a little bit of time, what you do is you go and you look at the fear and greed index. It's just one of those indicators that tell you what's the sentiment in the markets, right? If people are buying and they're in a frenzy, they're consistently buying, or if it's red and everybody's fearful, right? So what tends to happen when everybody's fearful, everybody kind of exits and they go into things that's they move out of speculative assets, right? Or hype assets, and they go into tangible assets. So that's where your silver, your gold, and things like that come into play. And what just happened? Gold just hit another all-time high. We at 4,200 right now. Silver, we just hit another all-time high. Never had a $50 silver ever. We're here, right? And these things are going to continue to go up. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just telling you what I know. And if you don't know what I know, you should definitely be inside Skyton Academy. All right. Shameless plug. Now, seriously, now when you start to look at these things, right? These indicators, the fear and greed index, it's telling you again what the sentiment is for retail investors. But what it doesn't tell you is that institutions were over leveraged. But if you've been paying attention, like I said, you already knew we were on the heels of new all-time highs that were going on in the crypto market, and people were anticipating Q4. We're taking off. So everybody was basically euphoric. So they were betting that the market was going to continue to pump. That's just really not realistic, especially when you know institutions are here now. They're going to continue to do this. So the market was primed basically for a liquidation. It only needed a spark, and that tariff announcement was the perfect excuse. All right. But now I'm gonna tell you where it really gets wild. It really gets interesting, right? So I'm bugged out behind this, but it's kind of like the normal play, right? It's just the same movie playing over and over on repeat, right? Different characters, different scenes. Hours after all the panic, Trump goes and posts another message, right, on Truth Social. It spreads like wildfire, it hits all the news outlets, and he says basically, don't worry about China. All is going to be fine. He respects President Xi, but he basically just had like a bad moment, and the U.S. doesn't want, they don't want to hurt China. They want to help it. And within 24 hours of that post, $200 billion came back into the crypto market. After the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, the same market rebounded with hundreds of billions of dollars in fresh inflows. Now you tell me, does that not sound like a shakeout or what? Because that's exactly what it was. The whales got all of the entries that they wanted. Think about all the people who, are big dogs, these big institutions. Now that they're here, they're lined up and they're actually investing. They're putting big capital into these spaces. You don't think they capitalized and they were part of that 200 billion? Because I'm pretty sure the regular retail investor didn't really have that much capital to just flow in on their own. This was the big dogs. All they did was buy up everything that people sold. They panic sold, and these institutions got it on a discount. They got it on a premium. Retail got scared, right? The whales got their entries. This same pattern we're going to keep seeing over and over and over again. From COVID, from FTX, all of these orchestrated crashes, they're all designed to transfer money from emotional hands to strategic ones, right? This is a game, right? So this is a good segue. The game is geopolitical, right? China currently, right now, they dominate 2/3 of the global rare earth mining that happens, and over 90% of rare earth processing, right? That means everything that's tied to the artificial intelligence chips, and we substantially need those, right? The demand for those is super high right now globally, not just in the States. Drones, electric vehicles, military systems, um, all of these things, and they all flow through Beijing China's supply chain, right? So when China restricts exports, it's not about money. This is leverage. They're literally testing the United States' dependence on their materials, right? And if Trump hit them with that 100% tariff, that's a response. Like he's literally doing that to reassert control. But here's the catch. It's these type of global moves that don't just impact the governments. They hit commodities, they hit tech stocks, they hit crypto, they hit even stable coins. Like they'll literally shake a stable coin from being pegged to a dollar and it'll cause it to plummet and collapse. It's happened before, it will continue to happen. There are a multitude of stable coins right now that exist and they're not backed by adequate reserves. So it's going to come a time where a market collapse, a black swan event is going to happen. Like that wasn't it. We're going to have a real black swan event at some point, and it's going to shake the markets, and you're going to see projects collapse, and they won't even have the ability to be able to regain confidence, regain the peg that they had to the dollar, and they'll have to go away, right? They'll be consumed, and that's just what happens um, to certain players in the space. Like I've seen it happen. So every single announcement that you guys really truly start to see that happens like in these headlines, these crypto news aggregators and things like that, they're basically moves on a chessboard. And the pawns, they're the retail investors reacting emotionally every single time. While the institutions, the big dogs, they just basically reposition themselves. They're dollar cost averaging, if you will, right? They're doing what you should be doing, right? So now, even here's something to consider. I think two or three dot connects ago, I was talking about the founder of Polymarket, right? So even they got in on the early prediction markets, right? They currently give I think it was November 1st, that tariff, the news that Trump put out for the 100% tariffs against China, it's only a 15% chance that it'll actually take effect. So that very policy that triggered this whole $1 trillion sell-off, it's got a 15% likelihood that it'll ever be implemented. And who's back in Polymarket? Think about this. The New York Stock Exchange. They invested $2 billion into Polymarket. That's the same platform that predicted the Nobel Peace Prize winner hours before it was actually announced. That's data. That's predictive infrastructure. That's institutional intelligence disguised as entertainment. They're not guessing. Like they're literally gaming probability. And they're betting on how the public is going to basically react to all of this. Not on what's actually happening behind the scenes. Just off your emotions. So this is all manipulation. So I'm gonna give you guys the quick manipulation playbook, right? So to connect it all, a tariff headline drops, panic hits retail, leverage loans get liquidated, the insiders profit, the liquidity resets, the same money goes back into the market just at lower prices. This is what you call a rinse and repeat cycle, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only: transfer ownership. When you understand that the market doesn't move randomly, you stop reacting and you start strategizing. You literally move with a strategy and intention. And that's the best thing that you could ever do, especially in this space. That's a super gem, super nugget for any and everybody, right? This was a coordinated liquidity harvest. And it was tied both to the political side, right? Political theater, if you will, and economic repositioning. Every single flash crash that we get is basically leaving a footprint. And this one left it all over the blockchain data. So we will be able to see this for many, many years to come, right? Because now crypto is here. People can actually see, yo, what happened on 10 years from now, right? They can go back and just see, hey, this is one of those events that happened. What happened? And now, because Skyton exists, we're able to break these things down and, the data is going to exist. We'll probably end up putting this on the blockchain at some point. And this is wild, man. The one thing that I do love about when these events happen, now that we have blockchain, it's time stamped. This data cannot go away from the media, from blockchain, from news outlets like us, exchange order books, all things, right? This stuff is going to live. It's going to live forever. So most people, they not really losing sight of this. And when you think about the psychology of this, people aren't losing because of bad investments. They're losing because of bad psychology, bad mindset, right? You're operating out of emotion. And I'm gonna give you this. So think about it like this. When the prices fall, people get fearful, and then fear takes over. When prices go up, prices rise, greed takes over. Both times they use your emotions against you. They literally weaponize your emotions. There's a trader that I came across. His name is Kevin F. I can't even pronounce his last name, but he said it best. He said every year there's two major liquidation events that wipe out everybody that's using leverage, like derivatives and leverage, right? That's why leverage wealth in crypto is all an illusion. He learned the hard way back in 2020. He lost 80% of his net worth in minutes. The only gem that he gave to everybody was no leverage. You take 80 to 90%. Now, again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just telling you what he shared. He said basically, do not use leverage, no leverage. 80 to 90% of your portfolio is supposed to go into top tier coins, right? Whatever your definition of a top tier coin is, right? It could be the top 10, it could be the top 50, whatever your metric is. And he said you basically gamble with the remaining 10 to 20%, but expect to lose it. Now, that's the difference between a trader and an investor. One reacts, the other endures. And endurance is how wealth is built. So, overall, the takeaway from this, the system wasn't broken by no means. It was working exactly the way it needed to. It rewards discipline over emotions, education over entertainment, and patience over panic. This wasn't the end of the bull cycle. We haven't even gotten started. This was just a flush before the next leg up. This was a healthy retrace, but they shook everybody out. And after every major shakeout, what happens? The markets go parabolic. COVID proved it. FTX proved it. And now you got this quote unquote tariffs crash. It's setting up to be proved right again. This is nothing but manipulation, and it only works for the short term. So this is why we always tell y'all fundamentals will always win for the long term. And the fundamentals of digital assets, tokenization, DeFi, for those of you who don't know, decentralized finance, they've never been stronger. What do you guys do? Should be your number one question. Especially, I know that we have some new members that just joined us. So I'm sharing what really happened in real time, and this is the true data, right? Not something just pulled from the sky, not something just made up, not hype, not just something regurgitated. These are the things that truly happen, and they continue to happen. And I gave you context, I gave you particulars, I gave you real data. Now you're here, and you have to ask yourself, what is it that I should do? You hodl. Drop it in the chat. Who knows what hodl means? HODL. There you go. You hold on for dear life. You dollar cost average. You stay in your position because the greatest wealth transfer in human history is not coming. It's happening right now. This is part of it. And you guys are here at a front row seat and you're in the game. So while everybody else is panicking, you're preparing. While everybody else is selling, you're buying, you're accumulating. When the news starts to distract everybody, you educating yourself. Y'all show up to these calls, the members only calls, you're deep diving, you're bringing back information into the academy. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And I tilt my hat to every single one of you because preparation eliminates fear every single time. And we don't operate in fear. That's why education is what turns chaos into opportunity. Everybody was panicking when the market was red. I literally was seeing people scrambling, going crazy on crypto Twitter, on TikTok. People were literally panicking, like, yo, I'm losing everything, blah, blah. It's the wrong mindset. Because one, you don't lose until you sell. And two, when you see these reds, they're opportunities. Now, it's irresponsible to tell everybody to just run out and say, go buy the dip. It's not realistic. Me and Steve were laughing. We were talking about this, but this is serious. It's like, yo, I don't have no more money to go buy the dip. I've bought every dip. I'm dipped out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't got it because this thing is going to keep happening, which is why you simply just dollar cost average, right? You don't have to play the game that these guys are selling you. At the end of the day, you have the education, you have access to the tools, the resources, you're with the community you're supposed to be with. And then what happens is you're able to spot certain things and you move different. You move and you navigate with like an aura, with like an essence, like you got confidence in your movements. Most people are frantic. They're just moving around and they moving about. It's super reactionary. And it's like, yeah, that could be somebody's superpower, but for the general public, that's not it. It's one of those situations where you're able to spot something and you seize the moment because you're educated. So you know how to move. So you have confidence in your movements. I talked to one of the members personally when everything was going on. He hit me up and was like, "Yeah, I just plussed up my bag this weekend. I'm happy. I'm excited." You see the difference? One side of the coin, everybody's panicking. The market's red. Oh, we just lost 1.9 trillion or 1.65 trillion in the stock market. Everything's bleeding. Crypto's down. So, like, think about it. There's people that's been in 10 years, like myself, like Steve. We were here when XRP was 2 cent, 6 cent. Average buys was 6 cents, 8 cents, 4 cents. It's still right now $2.50, probably $2.40. I know it was moving, kind of fluctuating before the call. Bitcoin, the same thing. These things are going to continue to fluctuate, and we're still super early. I was watching a interview. Um, Larry Fink, he's the CEO of BlackRock. He was on, I believe it was CNBC or something like that, and they were interviewing him, and he basically was telling everybody right after this was going on. He basically was telling everybody, listen, we're about to impact the world with what we're doing. We're advancing the old technology, the old traditional finance. It's about to be all bought on chain, all tokenized. So when they give it a value, right, via a token, it was 40, I think it was $46 trillion just in the equities that they were bringing on chain. 46 trillion, right? Think about what the current crypto market is, the market cap is 4 trillion. You see how early we are? So when these guys are telling you on national TV, we got $46 trillion that's gonna flow into crypto, into stable coins. It's gonna go on blockchains. Think about why you're here. It's only at 4 trillion. That's a 12x from where we currently at. So if you're seeing a $125,000 Bitcoin right now, you're seeing a $3 XRP, you're seeing H bar 10 cent. Like, just put that into perspective. You're still early. The world is literally shifting in your faces. The key players, the big behemoths in the space, they're all telling you what's happening. So a lot of this stuff is just noise. And as that noise just continues, the headline's gonna scream, the influencer's gonna argue, and they're gonna spread their fear and their opinions, right? And they don't even have to be fact based, but they're gonna spread them. The algorithm itself is gonna pick up on that and it's gonna pump even more fear. You gotta remember this. The markets don't move to destroy you. They move to test your conviction. The same systems that's designed to shake you out, they're also the same ones that create these same opportunities that change your life if you stay focused. Like we're living right now through a historical transfer of wealth, and everything is going from paper to digital. I also watched a clip earlier today from Georgieva, right? She's the managing director at the IMF, right? The International Monetary Fund. Kristalina Georgieva. She's a big dog. If you don't know who she is, when she speaks, the world listens, right? She literally said, I'm telling banks all across the world right now, they have to embrace and accept reality. The reporter said, what do you, and before she can even say, like, before she can finish and say, what do you mean? She said, I'm telling them to accept the reality that the world is shifting from traditional finance, it's all going digital. So now you got two of the biggest voices in the world when it comes to anything financial, when it comes to financial markets, right? Key agencies that impact central banks. They tell nations, whole countries what can and can't happen. They're telling you that we're moving from a centralized way to a decentralized way, from paper to digital, from fiat to freedom. And this is the moment right now is your chance. So this is why we always push this. You guys got to be educated because education is going to be the difference maker. It's what literally shifts paradigms. You got to get aligned and you got to get in position and you got to stay in position. Now, this isn't for all of you that's on this call because I know everybody here was home team, right? But everybody that's going to watch this replay, if it's one thing I want you guys to take away, this isn't the time to turn the cheek, to turn the blind eye. Crypto was at war in the past couple years, right? We now have the doors wide open. We have other nations that's investing trillions of dollars into the United States. The United States mission and this administration's mission. I'm not worried about everything else. This is solely on the financial side, right? Their focus is to be the hub, the global hub for cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence. That opportunity is right here where your feet are. I know we have international viewers and people that's from other nations and things like that. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us and giving us that support. But for the people that's here, right, you're in this industry and you're paying attention to something that's happening right here on your front doorstep. Don't miss it. And for everybody else who got family members, who got friends who are not yet invested, they haven't put any money into the space, education is going to be your best friend. It's essential. It's vital for your well-being, for your existence. You have to know this. The only people who are going to be able to benefit are the first movers, the people who get in now, who get in at these moments, these times. because everyone at some point is going to use cryptocurrency, is going to use blockchain, distributed ledger technology, smart contracts, artificial intelligence, all things that are being presented right now. And you're seeing these things are emerging. Everyone is going to use them at some point. Here's the difference. Everybody who's already in position, who learns this stuff now, you're going to gain wealth. You're going to gain some sort of financial gain, right? Because you're going to be invested in certain projects. Those projects are going to essentially appreciate, right? They're going to go higher, and your money is going to go higher, right? And then their assets. Some are different. Some cryptos are considered assets, so you'll be able to actually leverage them. You already see it now. They're making it so people can purchase houses. You can buy cars. You can buy businesses. You can buy all sorts of things, right? Commodities, gold, silver, diamonds, platinum, all things with crypto, right? And this is on a regular site. You can go on JM Bullion right now. You can purchase crypto. I mean, you can purchase gold or silver, whatever the case is, with crypto right now. So this is not far-fetched. They're making laws and they're integrating true law right now. I say all that to say, get right, get educated. And if you don't know what to do, you don't know where to go, you don't know how to move, right now we got a $1 offer, right, for your first month. You can come into Skyton Academy, you get full access to every masterclass, the crypto breakdowns, every live call, AI strategy, AI courses, etc. Right? And it's $1 for the first month. After that, it's $50 a month. And listen, that's the cost of staying ahead while everybody else falls behind. So you guys can either click the link in the description below or go to skytonacademy.com. Invest in your mind before you invest in the market. That's a powerful line. I'm gonna repeat that. Invest in your mind before you invest in the market because you know how to connect the dots. This is 114 episodes. You never have to fear a crash. You learn from every single one of them. You never have fear from these crashes. You learn how to profit from them, how to benefit from them, how to walk away empowered and financially stronger after every single one of them. This is Dot Connect Wednesdays, episode 114. History isn't happening to you, it's unfolding for you. Stay ready, stay strategic, stay dangerous, stay financially savvy, keep your head above water, stay sovereign. All right? We'll see you guys on the next episode.